Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Special Economic Zones. I'm your host, Ainsley Brown. In today's episode, we're going to talk about using regulation as an investment attracting or attraction tool. Now, oftentimes when we think of regulation, we think of bureaucracy, the big stick or the carrot and the stick. And it's more about the don'ts, don't do this, don't do that. Today, I really want to focus on the do's. That's the main focus because regulation is not just about the don'ts. The don'ts are important, yes, and those cannot be avoided. However, the do's are important because regulation are or regulations are also enabling. Let's take, for example, a very basic concept, the company, or in fact, it's a very complicated thing when you think about it. Um, when you, or we don't even really think about it, but the company, or what a company is, where you separate, legal personalities. So you have, on the one hand, you as an individual and then the company, which is a separate legal personality or a separate legal person. That's it's been around for hundreds of years, but it is a tremendous human invention within the law. And that facilitates a lot of investments and a lot of transactions throughout the history of humanity, so to speak. And, we don't really think about it, but just being given that privilege or to be able to incorporate um, is an enabler. And that's done through some sort of regulation. We don't think about it that way, but it is. Now, stepping into the zone context now in terms of use and regulation. Now, typically zones are, of course, used worldwide by governments, big and small, developing or developed states, to attract investments and entrepreneurs to come and set up in their country and do various types of activities. Now, with that, you have to have some level of regulation as to how they're going to do that, and what are the rules of the game. Now, when you look at, so for example, let's look at the US and their zone program. Their zone program is very basic. They only basically offer one incentive, fiscal incentive, and that is, and I don't want to emphasize the word fiscal incentive, uh, and that is they give a duty-free concession. That is to say, no duties are charged on equipment and you know things that are produced in the zone, provided they remain in the zone. They don't give other incentives such as a reduction in your corporate income tax rate. And yet, their program is one of the most successful in the world. Why? Because the US overall, not just the zone, but overall offers a conducive business environment. That is their main incentive. It's a non-fiscal incentive, but that's the main investment. That is the attraction. They also offer a market, a tremendous market, a very massive market. So that, of course, is part of the attraction or success of why their program or part of why their program has been so successful. But it also holds lessons for other countries in that how do you structure the fiscal, and some countries are even gone as far as giving financial incentives where they're giving cash to people to do certain things or investors to do certain things. So you have to look at it, and even that, even if you're given whatever fiscal or financial incentives, that is a form of regulation. So that's not just regulations, as I keep saying. It's not about the don'ts only, it's also about the do's. So you apply to become part of a country's regime, SEZ regime, and that is a form of regulation that enables you to enjoy one, being part of the physical space, part of the fiscal space. So you might be getting duty free, as within the US, that's the only thing they give, or a reduced, which is typical, reduced corporate income tax rate. You might be paying, in the regular economy, domestic 20%, but you might be paying maybe 15 or 12 or 10%, or in some cases zero. Um, and interestingly enough, look at UAE, specifically Dubai, where well, they're now introducing a corporate income tax, but basically there's no corporate income tax, zone or no zone, right? But what they're offering in their zone is, again, that duty free, like similar to the US, and also a conducive business environment that speeds up your transaction and leaves your transaction, whatever business you're doing, goods or services or a combination of the two, seamless. And how do they do that? There is some form of regulation that enables the investor to do that. So regulations are not just about the don'ts; it's also about the do's and how do you enable. And even the don'ts can also enable, depending on what you're doing. It's not just about protecting the government or the environment or the citizens. It's also about the investor themselves. And the more robust there is of these regulations, um, provided, of course, they're seamless and they are known and they're not arbitrary and they help move things along in a much more seamless way, that environment is attractive and can be packaged to an investor. I have a colleague that keeps saying there's nothing wrong with bureaucracy. It's when the bureaucracy is slow or inefficient, then there is a problem. And he's perfectly correct when he says that. So if you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see me do a specific topic, please leave me a comment down below and I'll get right back to you.